Good morning to all of you, dear students. Today we will discuss a new chapter, the making of the national movement 1870s to 1947. So basically in this chapter we will read about the national movements which is held in 1870s to 1947. We will discuss about the total national movements during this period. Okay. So basically in the previous chapter you know about the British uh, conquest of territories and how they take over the kingdoms. Okay, introduction of a new laws and administration, changes in the lives and pigeons and travel, educational changes in the 19th century, debates, challenges to the caste system, social reforms, girls के लिए ठीक है. So we have discussed. So the topic is the emergence of nationalism. So basically देखो what had happened at that time कि there were many changes in the society. Okay, and now the people aware about the nationalism. Okay, this consequence began to be clearly stated by the political association formed after 1850s, especially as you know about the 1880s. May 1885 they were found a Congress. Okay, and there were many foundations and organizations were founded that were basically connected to people to think about the society. Okay, like Sarvajanik Sabha, the Indian Association, Madras Mahajan Sabha. So basically, these were also, they are they were basically doing for the work uh, for the society. Okay, note the name Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Okay, literally means Sarvajanik. It means for all the people. It means Sarvajanik. It means to the people basically. So they were doing work for the society and the people. So though many of these association function in specific part of the country, the goals was stated as the goals of all the people of India, and that means sovereign. So basically, they work about for the sovereign because that time India was not a sovereign country. It was a colonized of the Britishers. So the dissatisfaction with British rule intensified in the 1870s and 1880s. The Arm Act was passed in 1878. Basically, Arm Act 2000 1878 was passed was disallowing Indian from possessing arm in the same year. The Vernacular Press Act. The Vernacular Press Act में क्या हुआ कि there was a also enacted in effort to silence those who were critical of the government. Okay, and now the act allowed the government to confiscate the assets of newspaper, including their printing presses. Okay, so there were many acts which is ban, which were making the ban of a particular people who were doing their job. 1883, there was a furor over the attempt by the government to introduce the Ilbert bill. Okay, Ilbert bill pay. So basically, there were many bills and there were many key policies which is making by the British government, and it was not for good the society. So it is to be neat, and the India's people were aware of it, and basically they were influenced from the Western countries also that time. So the need of the all Indian organization of educated Indians had been felt since 1880s, and but Ilbert bill controversy deepened this desire. The Indian National Congress was established 72 delegates. ठीक है, Indian National Congress 72 delegates from all over the country met in Mumbai in December 1885. Leadership Dadabhai Nehruji, Firoz Shah Mehta, ठीक है, Baidyanath Tayeb ji, W.C. Banerjee. They were the founder people of the Congress, and like Subramanyam Iyer, ठीक है. So these were the founder of the Congress, and were largely from Bombay and Calcutta. Nehruji, a businessman and publicist settled in London, and Nehruji was a basically publicist and economist also. So A retired British official A.O. Hume also played a part in bringing Indians from the various regions together. ठीक है, so that time were very play a crucial role for Indian politics. ठीक है, the Congress was found in 1885, a nation in the making. So basically, that they were doing for the you know to free the India. ठीक है, to free the country. So basically, 20 years was moderate in its objective and methods, and during this period, it demanded a greater voice for Indian the government and in administration. It wanted the legislative council to be more representative, give more power, and introduce independence where none existed. So basically, देखो what had happened at that time कि there was a rule and there was a policy making which is made by the British government. So when they were made the rule, so they were not given the totally right to the Indian people. ठीक है. So legislative council they had no rights, but basically they were representative, but they have no um, rights to do some better for uh, society, or some better for India. So it demanded that Indian be placed in high position in the government. For this purpose, it called for civil service examination to be held in India as well, not just in London. So basically, as I told you in the class, key that time the civil CSE, the civil service examination, were held in the London, not in India, because of they don't want ki Indian people um, will become a officer. ठीक है, they want like Indian people do the job only a basic level like clerk. ठीक है, so the demand for Indianization of the administration was part of movement against racism, since most important jobs at the time were monopolized by white officials, and the British generally assumed that Indians could not be given position of responsibility. But there were many people like Subhash Chandra Bose, Sundar Banerjee, who were cracked this civil service examination. This examination was very tough that time. ठीक है. The early Congress also raised a number of economic issues. It declared the British rule had led to poverty and famines, increase in the land revenue had improvised peasants and zamindar. So basically, when the uh, British government basically worked for their country, they they didn't ki mix up of our Indian country or our Indian people. They whatever they do, whatever uh, done by them, they totally given the advantage to British crown. Okay, so basically that time early Congress raised many issues, economic issue, ठीक है, poverty का issue, feminines का issues, ठीक है, peasants का issue, जमींदार्स का issue, ठीक है. The moderate leaders wanted to develop public awareness about the unjust nature of British rule. They published newspaper, wrote articles. So moderate leaders जो हैं like Lal Bahadur Shastri, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Pin Chandra. So basically they were raised the issue to and aware the people or unjust nature of British rule. Basically published newspaper, magazines, wrote articles. ठीक है, and there were many people who were not reading the articles, but other people who were no reading, they were उनको वो क्या करते थे, सुनाते थे. So basically this is the लाल बाल पाल की हम बात करते हैं. So now we will discuss about the Bal Gangadhar Tilak, who told freedom is our birthright. It means कि freedom जो है it is our birthright and no one to give them right कि उसको वो क्या कर सके, लैप्स कर सके या छीन सके. By the 1890s, many Indians began to raise questions about the political style of the Congress. In Bengal, Maharashtra, and Punjab, leaders such as Bipin Chandra Pal, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and Lala Lajpat Rai, they were very important. Uh, they were played an important or crucial role to become India free. Okay, so like they criticize the moderates for their politics of prayers and emphasize the importance of people must rally their own strength. It means basically moderate were doing work, but basically moderate uh, to gain like कि prayers, they were politics of prayers, ठीक है, empathy sympathy से वो सारी चीज़ें लेना चाहते थे, but they argued that people must rally on their own strength, not on the good intention of the government. People must fight for Swaraj. Tilak raised the slogan, freedom is my birthright and I shall have it. Okay. Now in 1905 was Curzon partition Bengal. So 1905 में was parted two parts of the Bengal, basically three parts of the Bengal. So at that time Bengal was biggest province British India, and Bihar, Orissa, that the part of the Bengal. It means it was very big. ठीक है, इसमें बिहार हो गया और उड़ीसा हो गया. Got it? Now you will see कि uh, for regions of administrative convenience. But what did administrative convenience means? Whose convenience convenience it represent? Clearly, it was closely tied to the interest of British officials and businessmen. It means the totally advantage of the British officials and businessmen because uh, they want to pass partition of the Bengal and and scattered the power of the Bengal. Even so, instead of removing the non-Bengali areas from the province, the government separated East Bengal and merged it with Assam. Okay, the partition of Bengal infuriated people all over India. All sections of the Congress, the moderate and the radicals, as they may be called, opposed it. Our public meeting and demonstration were organized and novel method mass protest developed. So basically, when the Bengal was partnered by the British government, so basically many revolt and key demonstration were organized at that time because no one want कि बंगाल का क्या हो partition हो. ठीक है. This was Swadeshi movement sought to oppose British rule by encourage the idea of self-help Swadeshi enterprise. ठीक है. So Swadeshi, as you know about the Swadeshi movement, ki national education and the use of Indian languages to fight the Swaraj, and the radicals advocated mass mobilization and boycott of British institution and goods. So basically, radicals wanted ki uh, no one use or boycott of British British's goods or things. So it was a very revolutionary violence would be necessary to overthrow British rule. Okay. So this was happened, and the opening decades of 20th century were marked by other developments as well. A group of Muslim landlords and Nawabs formed on the All Indian Muslim League at Dhaka in 1906. 1906 में there were a founding in Muslim League, and the league supported the partition of Bengal. It desired separate electorates for Muslim demand conceived by the government in 1909. So basically 1909 में, as you know about the 1905 में, there was a partition of Bengal and Muslim League was support because of किसके लिए, because of the uh, desired separate electorates. ठीक है, it means seats के लिए. Got it? Meanwhile, the Congress split in 1907. The moderates were opposed to the use of boycott. They felt it involved the use of force. After the split, the Congress came to be dominated by the moderates, with Tilak followers functioning from outside. The two groups reunited in December 1915. So December 1915 में they were united, and radicals and moderates. ठीक है. अब वो लोग क्या हो गए, साथ हो गए ब्रिटिश का क्या करने लगे, अगेंस्ट उनके काम करने लगे. So this is the end of the video. We will discuss the growth of mass nationalism in our next video. So goodbye, have a good day to all of you.